Sounds good.
Audio's on. Alfonso, you ready to do this, baby? No, you're not, because your microphone's not by your face.
Oh, look, you forgot to tell me. You have to remind me. This is your job.
Like you haven't done this show before.
This is the Span and Sidekick Hour.
Oh, you little poop stain. You're so weird. Anyway, these are this is the Beats and Beatdowns podcast, but these are more trending topic and current events focused bits that we do specifically for YouTube, and this one is specifically about the Batman, because Alfonso was like, dude, Spain, you need to see the Batman, and this was like 2 days after it come out, and we're meeting up to do a podcast, and I had forgotten, actually.
So good.
Why am I yawning? I'm not even
Stop yawning, because you're gonna make me yawn.
Yeah, sorry, dude. It kind of snuck up on me. Like, I was just like, boom, in the yawn before I even knew what's going on.
Damn it.
Sorry. It's just how it works. But yeah, the Batman. Okay. Now, before I saw the movie, folks were out here online talking about, I think it's better than The Dark Knight. Let me say this. It is motherfucking not. Okay? It is not better than The Dark Knight.
Two different movies.
True. It is a good movie. But and there's going to be spoilers ahead, so if you have not seen The Batman, do not watch this. See, you yawn. Now you're making me yawn, you fucker. But yeah, The Dark Knight, I mean, if we're talking about complexity and fleshing out the character of Bruce Wayne / Batman, or actually Batman / Bruce Wayne, one of the key elements is that Batman is an exceptional detective. And in this movie, he was a little slow sometimes in ways he should not have been. And that was, I felt, sometimes more for plot exposition than it was for actually showcasing the Batman and his skill sets. But overall, I'm not going to hold that against it. I think it was a good movie. And my favorite exchange, I have to say this, because then I want to ask what your favorite exchange or part of the movie was when Bruce Wayne, or Batman, was in Arkham Asylum with the Joker.
Yeah, but that's a deleted scene. I never made the movie.
Oh, yeah, no. Did I say the Joker? I mean, with the Riddler. I'm sorry. Yeah, that deleted scene.
That deleted scene was sick.
Oh, my God. I did not think anybody could be in the neighborhood of the Joker that was put in by Heath Ledger.
Oh, no, yeah.
And by Jack Nicholson. But that dude was good.
Well, you know what they're doing.
As the Joker.
You know what they're doing with
what
that
do you mean?
deleted scene. Right? They're gauging to see if the Joker should be next.
Yes.
In the franchise because they said they're going to do 3 of those movies.
Oh, yes. They're going to give Robert Pattinson a trilogy of Batman movies.
They're gauging what villain they want to do next. And they're gauging if it's going to be Joker because they already know there's been a lot of Joker shit already. Like, you had the Suicide Squad Joker, you had fucking the Joker movie with Joaquin Phoenix, so, like, that's their way of gauging it. I guarantee, like, when they see, like, the numbers on that fucking deleted scene, they're going to be like, yeah.
Yes. No, his depiction of the Joker was absolutely fantastic. Now, the question is, how did he catch the Joker? And that's the interesting thing, because it's kind of alluded to in that deleted scene that he was the one who caught the Joker.
Yeah.
Now, when we're going back to his scene with the Riddler, like, that guy, the Riddler was like, Paul Dano was the actor, and Paul Dano is one of those actors who loves to be the weird guy.
Dude, I love Paul Dano.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry, but his Riddler was fucking phenomenal.
Agreed.
Dude, his Riddler was straight up, like, sadistic and fucked up.
That's how he's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Like the comic, all of the rogues gallery in Batman have been kind of shit upon by various elements in the past, and they've made these characters more fun and giggly than murderous, because they are murderers. That is their goal, to kill and destroy and ruin everything, including Batman. But, I mean, when he's, like, in the room and he's like, Bruce Wayne, and you're just like, does he know? And, like, even Batman was kind of just, like, looking at him, like, not reacting. And then when he finally was like, he kind of alluded that he did not know that the guy in front of him was Bruce Wayne, you saw Batman just kind of relief a little bit. But it was just the exchange, like, that whole movie was good. But that exchange to me was like, oh, I'm Robert Pattinson, Paul Dano, hell yeah. Hell yeah, hell yeah. So, what was your favorite part of the Batman movie?
My favorite part of the Batman movie was just Paul Dano's Riddler, like in general. I love. I'm a really big serial killer fan. Like I'm very intrigued by the whole serial killer. Oh man!
What is it about serial killers that intrigue you?
They're not crazy. They're not crazy. These are absolutely normal, 100% of sane mind and body people who are just fucking evil. They're just evil, and they also, in a weird way, we all wish we can do things outside of who we are and kind of get away with it.
To some degree, yeah.
To some degree, right? All of us.
We can all think of somebody we'd like to kill and get away with.
What are those thoughts, intrusive, invasive thoughts, or whatever like that every human has?
Yeah.
So these people are void of that. They just do it, and in some way, that's fascinating. That they have no. It's just like they can kill someone and just fucking move along with their day, like as if it never happened. Because most serial killers are able to hide it pretty well. Eventually, they devolve. It's been shown that eventually serial killers just become more and more bloodthirsty, to where their brain devolves into a essentially sort of apex predator prey type thing, and they just go, the perfect example of that was Ted Bundy. But his decline was just like really quick. But essentially that's what happens. So I'm fascinated by the fact that these are normal ass people who do crazy, fucked up, like brutal shit to other people, and they just don't even bat an eye. It's just like whatever, and they go about living their lives like nobody. Like, I mean, BTK, that guy, like, that dude lived a normal ass life.
He isn't the only one. There's several dudes who lived totally normal lives. No one knew that they were killed. They had a wife, they had children. Sometimes they were pillars of society. It just turns out they would go out in the middle of the night when no one knew it, dress up in stockings and stuff, and start murdering people.
Yeah. And that to me is in some degree, shape, or form fascinating. But it also tells you can also learn a lot about the human psyche and the human evolutionary process and where we are. And it just goes to show that you don't really know anybody. So I'm fascinated by that. But I'm also fascinated with the Riddler in this movie because he was so fucking smart. And my favorite thing was when he looked at Batman and he said, "My strengths aren't in my hands or my physical form. My strengths are in my mind." Which, I mean, for all intents and purposes, that dude outsmarted everybody in that movie.
Well, that's what the Riddler does. Like, that's the one thing about this movie that I was impressed with. Well, several things I was impressed with. But in this movie, the Riddler lost, but he also kind of won.
Exactly.
And that's the thing about Batman that in a lot of movies, the thing about The Dark Knight is that the thing that helped Batman win in The Dark Knight was Gotham. And that's the thing about that movie that made it so amazing. And in this movie, the Batman, Gotham couldn't save itself. Batman had to save it. But in the end of the movie, he said, the one thing I have to give them isn't vengeance, it's hope. Because just vengeance doesn't inspire people. Hope does. If I give them hope, they will save this city with me. So, yeah, I was very much into the movie. And here's a question I have for you before we close this out. Which intrigued you more? The story of Batman's pursuit or the story of the Riddler's pursuit? Which part of that anchored you more to the story?
Riddler's. Riddler's more because it's what... See, I look at this movie... The reason why... Okay, so... The Dark Knight series and the Batman series that they have right now going... Two different Batman movies and series altogether. So I don't like to compare them. I think that this is the better Batman to the comic book idea of the hero rather than...
This is very true to the Batman Year One that was written by Frank Miller.
Exactly.
Like, in that one, Selena Kyle was a light-skinned black woman. And people were pissed at the time that he made Selena Kyle black. But seeing the guy, Matt, whatever the hell, the director who also wrote Matt Reeves, yeah. Like, he was clearly borrowing heavily from that in a lot of aspects. With the Marconis and the Falconis and how everything worked out. It was a very well done story.
I think this was the more true to the comic book Batman that we've gotten yet in all the Batman movies that we've had.
I don't know if I can agree with that, but okay.
Well, I'm saying it to the most beloved Batman comic book, which is the Frank Miller series Batman.
Well, I mean,
it really is.
There was hints. Have you ever read the Hush graphic novel? Do yourself a favor. You can go to the library and rent it. I'm sure there's places online you can find it for rental or whatever the hell. But Hush, this was kind of loosely based on that, and it is fantastic. Jeff Loeb, who was actually involved in some of the Marvel stories for Netflix, which weren't as good as I thought they could have been, but were still spectacular in their own right. Jeff Loeb helped write those stories. Jeff, J-E-P-H, Loeb, L-O-E-B. Like, anything he wrote, comic book wise or graphic novel, you should check out. Especially when it comes to Batman. Because he wrote some spectacular stories.
What I liked about Batman. You had said something like, "Oh, well, he's a spectacular detective, and not so much in this one." But he is, though. What I like about that, the fact that they didn't make him right off the rip as like the spectacular detective that he is. He kind of starts building into it, and that's what I like because I see what they're doing. And they're building up the character. I love the fact that they left the whole fucking mom and dad get shot bullshit out. Like, we've seen that a million times.
Yeah, they did a good job of, alluding to it without telling us.
Yeah, we don't need to know the fucking story now. Like, we get it. Like, it happened, you know what I'm saying? I love the fact that they focused more on, which in the comic books it happens, that his dad wasn't as clean as he thought he was. I loved that. I love that they made that more of
they dirtied him up a little bit.
I love that they made that more of what's fueling him.
Thomas Wayne was always like this doctor who was also a brilliant engineer who had all these patents that made all this money.
Batman's tortured because he saw his parents get killed. They kind of alluded to that, but they made what's torturing now is his obsession with his father being a good man and finding out that his father was flawed like everybody else in the city. So I love that part of it. So I saw what they were doing. All in all, man, amazing Batman movie. Really looking forward to what they're going to do next. Hopefully it is just as good, if not better, than this one. Matt Reeves so far has done a spectacular job. Paul Dano knocked it out of the park with the Riddler. Robert Pattinson deserves every goddamn apology in the history of ever. Because so many people shit on that guy about being the Batman, and I was like, you're all fucking stupid.
Yes.
He's going to make you look like an idiot.
I agree with that. Like, people want to come after him because of the vampire movies. And it's like...
Well, who cares? Like, and that's the thing. That's the funniest thing to me. It's like, the idea that people get so mad and people try and shit on somebody over their art, like a movie like Twilight, when he's acting, that's like his job.
Bruh, you know how people are. Why you gotta be surprised, man? You know the Twitterati had to come for him, and then they came out and say the money. He came out and see the movie. None of the motherfuckers had anything to say anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a fantastic film. I'm like Alfonso. The next ones are going to be great. We have a Patreon. $2 all we ask. We'll give you a shout out. And Alfonso's in a band called HEARTSICK. Check out everything he's doing on Facebook, on Instagram. Please support us because it enables us to give you more content because our opinion tends to be entertaining. We know this because you tell us.
That's right.
So give us that $2 and help us out.
There's my son. There's my little guy.
No. Anyway, give us money. Bye.